craft was built centuries ago, still surface. Now, even with the electrical connections, the compressor and cryonics capsule, I think this probably will be the best place for the surface. Don't you think, Reverend Dawson?
I suppose.
You have no objection to a service without a burial?
No. Now, I have officiated at many such services where the body is usually placed in the family crypt.
But none, I think, quite like this one.
Well, that's true, but strange as it may be, I do recall you did caution me last night.
Yes, I did. But I don't think I told you about a service without a corpse.
Desmond, you did say your wife had died.
In a sense, that's true.
In a sense. If her remains are in this capsule.
A cryonics capsule, Reverend, where the remains remain undisturbed. Inside, an electronically controlled environment ensures an absolute temperature. Now, if even the movement has ceased, life is still in a state of suspension. Do you see my point?
Frankly, no. A person is either alive or dead, according to God's will.
Except on this island.
I'm not with you, Mr. Desmond.
You will be. And so will Erica when she returns to me. Even though you and God consider her dead.
You mean you deny God, as well as scientific fact? Your wife was declared dead.
Cryonics will make that a contradiction. I read some time ago that the body of a man was found frozen to death after a blizzard. No heartbeat, no respiration, no blood pressure. Medically, he was dead. But when the body was thawed out and artificial respiration applied, the man's heart began to beat again.
God's will, Mr. Desmond. And a medical miracle.
In that order?
Exactly.
I'm after the medical miracle. It wasn't until 30 years later that the man died for a second time. 30 years, Reverend Dawson. A soulless corpse like a zombie?
I have no belief in zombies.
And I have every belief that Erica will one day be returned to me.
Are you all right, Mr. Desmond?
Oh, couldn't be better. I suddenly feel as if a load was lifted from my mind.
Don't let a miracle become a fact in your mind. They seldom occur.
Reverend, you are a theologian, trapped by your own logic and teachings.
And you a man chained by your lack of logic.
Those chains can be easily melted. When you run out of answers, look to the fire god. He's got some new ones, new for even you.
The devil? Surely you're not advocating a satanic belief?
I don't advocate or procrastinate. I live and let live. Fair enough?
May we get back to what we were discussing?
Oh, yes, life, death, which we touched on both.
Your wife's burial service. I'm not sure I can conduct it for a woman whose husband refuses to accept her death.
Reverend Dawson, if God builds a stone that is too great for even him to lift, that's a mountain. Why make a molehill out of it? Mother's little death diary. Oh. You know, for an immobile soul, a lovely woman and a dearly departed, you sure cause a lot of action around here. Well, keep it up, my sweet. I haven't had so much fun since one of my colleagues fiddled while Rome burns. Now let's see, who gets burned next?
Well, Holly, hello.
Goodbye.
You can't keep running, Holly. Please don't.
It's a reflex reaction. Whenever I see you, the friendly warden.
You make Wesley House seem like the black hole of Calcutta.
You want to see my bruises? I've got a heart full of them.
I know how difficult it was for you.
Was. It is and always will be until you and that dear mother of mine leave me alone.
I thought what we were doing was for your own good, to keep you out of trouble.
And what have you planned now? An extended vacation on Devil's Island?
Holly, you've made mistakes, so have I. I'm ready to admit mine. That's why I followed you down here. I think you owe me the courtesy of 5 minutes. That's not asking too much.
I don't owe you a thing, Reverend. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes. From now.
First, your mother and I are not in a conspiracy. In fact, she hates me almost as much as you do.
I don't hate you, Reverend. I just hate the things you do. She hates you? Oh, come on, Reverend. I thought you and she piped the same tune.
We're completely out of harmony, I assure you.
Then what brought you to Meljardin?
You, I told you.
What for? To set me straight or send me straight back to Wesley House?
Because I thought you might need me.
Need you? What for?
Protection, guidance, maybe even comfort. You can use all three, Holly.
I can use freedom, which means the right to find my own comfort.
You're right, of course. Which is why it was so difficult wrestling with my conscience.
Obviously, your conscience lost the bout.
Let's call it a draw. To ease the wrong you think I forced, I decided that to correct it would be the only way to show how you've misjudged me.
No contest. Come off it, Reverend. Go back and fleece your flock.
Perseverance is a minister's stock in trade. Perseverance for good, I mean.
Yeah? And what about thinking out for self-gain? Where does that come into it?
Now you sound like your mother.
Oh, she reads you too, eh? I didn't think she had it in her. What'd she do? Use that as a threat to get you to tell her where I was?
Your mother didn't learn anything from me.
Well, I'm learning things minute by minute. You know, I almost feel sorry for you, Reverend Davidson. Oh, I mean Dawson. That other fellow, he was a minister, a lecherous minister in a play called Rain. Wasn't that the name of the play, Reverend
Yes,
Dawson?
and I don't like the comparison.
All the world's a stage and all the men
That's
and women
enough,
merely,
Holly.
and I've had enough too. Look, I don't care if you're flying solo or whether you're in cahoots with my mother. All I want is for you to leave me alone and get out of my way.
Perhaps my timing is bad. I'll wait until you calm down.
Yeah. How about a lifetime, Reverend?
A lot sooner than that, Holly. Before you ruin your life for good.
That is my pleasure. Because that's all I want from life, a little bit of happiness.
Let me help you, Holly.
Why, how do you mean that, Reverend?
You know where I'll be when you're ready to apologize.